Hello guys, welcome back to Chris Poly channel. This video I want to share about Global Lab update for 27 October 2023 maintenance update. But be noticed, all content on this Global Lab video was recorded on Global Lab server, so this is all content that will update on our live server in future, and mostly all this update will implement on Korea live server next week maintenance update, and following outside Korea server if they already feel this content already ready to release outside Korea server globally. Okay, to enjoy watch my video, make sure you turn on this video subtitle, and also you can use timestamp that I already provide to go to target topic that you want. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on bell notification to get any update and guide on Black Desert World. Okay, let's start this video content using any feature that I provide. Okay, this is official website for Global Lab update at 27 October 2023. First feature update that they mentioned for this week Global Lab update, this is about continuous update for huge PvE buff that previously they already announced on last Global Lab update at 20 October 2023. But take notice all these changes will apply to our live server after ASEAN Network Championship is done. That expected will start implementing around early November 2023. Okay, first class that they mentioned on this week buff is Sorcerer's class, and they just increase buff for all AP depend on number piece following on this list. And then for Sorcerer's Succession, they also just increase HP recovery when using this skill from 92 point to become 150 point. And also they just fix some issue for this skill to become applied match with its skill description. And this is list any skill for Sorcerer Succession that got PvE buff, but take notice PvP damage still nearly same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And then for Sorcerer's Awakening, they also increase health recovery number for this skill following on this list. And they also add plus 100 HP recovery effect for this skill after successful hit. And they also just fix some issue for this skill. And they also decrease cooldown skill for this skill following on this list. And this is any Sorcerer's Awakening skill that got PvE buff. And same as before, PvP damage still nearly same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Mehua class. And this is for Mehua Succession that they also increase HP recovery for these two skill following on this list. And then they just add new HP recovery effect for this skill and also for this prime skill. But take notice for this prime skill, this HP recovery effect will not apply during cooldown. And this is list for Mehua Succession skill that got PvE buff. And same as before, PvP damage still nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Valkyrie class. First change for Valkyrie, they just improve Valkyrie class when using her shield skill. And in future, Valkyrie will keep their stance for holding skill even you move to any direction, so this stance will not cancel. And next for Valkyrie Succession, they just decrease this prime skill cooldown from 8 seconds to become 6 seconds only. And then they also just fix some issue for this 2 flow skill. And this is list skill for Valkyrie Succession that got PvE damage buff, but PvP damage still same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next for Valkyrie Awakening, they also just reduce cooldown for this skill from 7 seconds to become 6 seconds only. And also they just increase HP recovery effect for this skill. And they also just fix some issue for these 2 skill. And this is list for Valkyrie Awakening skill that got PvE damage buff. And same as before, PvP damage still same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next for Ninja and Kunoichi class, they just unify skill range for this skill regardless its skill level. And they also improve this skill to become have sustain range even during cooldown, so this attack range will not decrease during cooldown. Okay, first for Kunoichi Succession, they also increase HP recovery for this prime skill from 50 point to become 75 point. And they just fix some issue for this prime skill. And next for these 2 ultimate skill, they just remove stamina recovery from these 2 skill. Instead that they just move it to its prime skill. And next for this prime skill, they also just increase HP recovery for this skill from 60 point to become 100 point. And then for this prime flow skill, they also increase its HP recovery from 50 point to become 80 point. And any skill issue for this flow skill, they also just fix it. And this is table list for any Kunoichi succession skill that got PvE damage buff, but PvP damage still nearly same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Ninja Succession. For this Prime Flow skill, they just increase damage reduction rate from 50 point to become 20 point. And also cooldown for this flow skill, they just reduce it from 12 seconds to become 7 seconds only. And they also increase HP recovery from this prime skill from 40 point to become 70 point. And then for this prime flow skill, they also increase stamina recovery from 60 point to become 80 point. And the same thing for this prime flow skill, they just increase its stamina recovery from 40 point to become 70 point. And for this flow skill, they just increase HP recovery that apply for all hit, and they also increase HP recovery from 40 point to become 85 point. And they also fix some issue for this skill. And then they also just fix some issue for all this Ninja Succession skill. And for any Ninja Succession skill that got PvE buff, there are so much skill for Ninja Succession skill following on this list. But take notice, any PvP damage still nearly same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And then for Ninja Awakening, they also increase HP recovery when using this skill from 40 point to become 70 point. And then for another skill, its HP recovery also increase from 50 point to become 100 point. And this is skill list for Ninja Awakening skill that got PvE damage buff, but same as before, PvP damage still nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Mystic class. First about Mystic Succession, that they just increase life XP recovery effect when using this 3 flow skill from 20 point to become 50 or 40 point. And then they also reducing number of hits in PvP situation from this skill. And this is list for Mystic Succession skill that got PvE buff. And same as before, PvP damage still nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next for Mystic Awakening skill, that they just change this skill attack range to become equal for its hit. And they also fix some issue for this skill. And the same thing for this skill. And for another Mystic Awakening skill, they also just increase HP recovery from 30 point to become 50 point. And this is any Mystic Awakening skill that got PvE damage buff. And same as before, PvE damage still same because PvP damage reduction rate also increase for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Witch class. First for Witch Succession, that they just add stamina recovery when using this prime skill. And also they just add HP recovery effect when using this prime skill following on this list. And the same thing, they also add HP recovery when using this skill. And they also just increase animation skill when using this prime skill and reducing its skill cooldown from 10 seconds to become 7 seconds. And this is any Witch Succession skill that got PvE damage buff. But PvP damage still nearly same because they also increasing PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next for Witch Awakening, they also just add HP recovery effect when using this skill. And they also increase HP recovery for this skill from 40 point to become 60 point. But when you using this skill during cooldown, this HP recovery effect will not apply. And they also increase HP recovery for these two skills. And this is any Witch Awakening skill that got PvE buff. And same as before, PvP damage nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Sage class. First about Sage Succession, that they just remove buff for increasing magic power from this prime skill. And instead that, they just add all AP increase buff when using this prime skill. And number of all AP increase just change from 20 point to become 36 point. And then for another skill, they just increase HP recovery when you using this skill following on this list. And they also just remove casting animation when using this skill, so you can use this skill more faster than before. And they also just increase animation speed when you using this skill, and they also increase HP recovery when successful hit using this skill from 50 point to become 90 point. And this is any set succession skill that got PvE damage buff, and same as before, PvP damage still nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next, for Sets Awakening, they also just increase HP recovery effect when using this skill from 25 point to become 70 point. And they just add HP recovery when using this skill. And the same thing for this flow skill, that they just add HP recovery effect when successful hit using this skill. And they also increase skill animation when using this flow skill, so you can use it more faster than before. And this is stable skill for any Sets Awakening skill that got PvE buff. And same as before, PvP damage nearly same as before because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next class that got PvE buff is Corsair class. First, for Corsair Awakening, that they just increase HP recovery when using this skill following on this list. And they also just add HP recovery when using this skill, especially when you charging its skill. And another HP recovery also just add for this skill. And they just add animation for any author when you activate this skill. And this is stable list for Corsair Awakening skill that got PvE damage buff. And same as before, PvP damage still nearly same because they also increase PvP damage reduction rate for all this skill. And next, from last Global Lab update at 20 October 2023, that they just improved PvE buff for all these 9 class. On this week Global Lab update, they just fix some issue and give some correction from last Global Lab update that they just announced at 20 October 2023, especially for Dark Knight and Corsair class. And more detail about this info change, you can check it on this screen. And next, about any future content change that they will apply in future. First, about Mysterious Catalyst. In future, if you get this Mysterious Catalyst from doing alchemy content, they will increase chance to get this Mysterious Catalyst to become increased 3.7 times compared than before, so you can get this Mysterious Catalyst more frequent than before. And next, some optimization for any excavation production node that previously from any excavation node you can get any trash item that not worthy, like any kind of this trash item that have less silver. And in future, they will remove all these trash item from excavation node. Instead that they will replace it to become any kind of mineral like gold ore, platinum ore, rock opal, and mithril for any kind of excavation node on Rickhan region. So this is great update to get this rare mineral from excavation node that available on this list. And next future content is buff for gathering content, especially when you doing lumbering for any tree. First, about probability to get any kind of rare item, that they will increase all these rare item from any node production by your worker, either for spirit leaf, monk branch, or tree bark, bloody tree node, and red tree lamp. And then they also increase amount to get all these item when you doing lumbering for any tree manually by your character, so you can get more item from all item on this list when doing gathering content manually. But take notice, this is just increase number of item that you can get from all these item, but gathering probability to get all these item still same as before, that depend on your skill mastery. And then they also just add NPC Afuaru that doing lumbering, and if you interact with this Afuaru, you can collect some wood from this NPC, and also you can get special rare item that I already mentioned previously from this Afuaru NPC. And this Afuaru will not affected by any skill level and cannot be encountered when you doing gathering minigame. And if you didn't interact with this Afuaru within 3 minutes, this Afuaru will run away. And if any Afuarus still summoned, this will not summon any other Afuaru before previous Afuaru is gone. Okay, next, some buff for farming content, especially for encounter any kind of mole doing farming content. In future, they will increase probability for any kind of mole to appear when doing farming content. But probability for regular mole to appear, they just reduce it 33% compared than before. Okay, next, about guild content. In future, if you're completing any guild mission, you will receive 10 pieces for each 3 type of this juice to gain some fitness experience that you can use it for any character in your account. So by this information, you can get more reward for your character if you completing any guild mission, especially to get any fitness experience for your character. Okay, next feature content about the manor content. Because previously, any manor furniture, you cannot sell it through central market. And in future, after this update come, you can sell any manor furniture from central market. And this is any list manor furniture that you can sell it through central market. And more detail about this list, you can check on this video description. I already put link for this translated website in this video description. And next, they also just add 14 types of furniture exclusive for the manor that related with Grana City. And this 14 type furniture for your manor, you can craft it from Furniture Workshop at level 3 until level 5. And this is some preview how it's look for this manor furniture, especially for its decoration item for your exterior, either for fountain and flower bucket decoration, some exterior furniture, exterior bench and table. Even you can craft statue for Camasylvian elf for your manor. And they also just add new place that you can plant some flower for your manor exterior and any other furniture item related with Camasylvia region, like this fence and this lamp. And then some material, they also just make it available to put it on central market following on this list. And this is starting and maximum price limit for all these items. And next feature improvement for hunting field boss Rau, that they will increase probability to obtain Rau Heart and also Red Earth Bloodstone. And they also will change notification message for this Rau appearance that previously only display 5 minutes before its real appearance. And in future, this notification just change to become 15 minutes before its real appearance. And the second notification will mention at 5 minutes before its real appearance. So you can get more time to prepare to kill this Rau. And this is the total improvement loot for this King Rhino Rau to get this Rau Heart that they just increase its drop rate 4 times compared than before. And also increase drop rate for this Red Earth Bloodstone that you can get at least 1 until 3 pieces of this item with certain probability. And probability to obtain this Red Earth Bloodstone is depend on damage rank when you defeating this King Rhino Rau. And for sure the highest rank, you will get increased probability to get this Red Earth Bloodstone when defeating this King Rhino Rau. And then they also increase price for this Rau Heart on central market to become 3 times compared than before. And next improvement for quest and knowledge. In future, if you doing bartering content, you can finish any quest related with bartering that previously you need to go back to Velia City to become you can get it from Ilia Island. And then they just add some knowledge to get this travel mycelium. This is mentioning about travel seed knowledge that I already mentioned previously on last Global Lab update at 20 October 2023 when I mentioning about travel seed update. And then they will add quest lists for Liana Daily Gathering Quest to be listed on recommended daily quest section. This is mentioning about life skill daily quest and weekly quest from Liana and Ludovic NPC that I guide you on this video. And then for any kind of large ship, they will increase calling distance that previously maximum distance is 40 meter. They will increase it twice than before to become 80 meter. And this is will apply for any kind of large ship, including any ship on this list. And still about selling content, that previously they already give some quality of life for this embark function from your ship to Wharf Manager. And for this week Global Lab update, they just improve this selling content, especially for opposite side. This is about instant embark function. So in future, if you near Wharf Manager, if you have your ship ready near this location, you will see this icon. And if you click this icon, you will instantly embark to your ship. So this is will faster your process when doing selling or bartering content. And for any other minor fix and change, I think all of this not too a big deal. Okay, that's all feature update of Black Desert World that they already announced on last Global Lab update at 27 October 2023. And special thanks to all my membership for direct support via Patreon, Karya Karsa, and YouTube membership. And also my current member, Dubiadut, Doki, Angel, Ayrton, Snot, Soren, Alt, Afrilka, El Familia, Drunken Video, Jeff, Legend Z, as Gold member. And also for all my silver and bronze member, thank you so much for all your direct support. This will make Chris Poly channel running and growing more faster. If you want to support me directly, I will very grateful. And as special thanks, I will put your name on my video depend on your support level. And be noticed at some level there are have some limit, so make sure you didn't get run out for this limited space. And I will put your name on every subsequent video that I release for the duration of your support. And if you want to join my membership to support me directly, you can go to any platform for Patreon, Karya Karsa, and YouTube membership. I already put link for this membership on this video description, or you can check on top right of this video. I already put card for Patreon link. If you like this video, you can like and subscribe to my channel for another guide and update. Thank you for watching. See you next time.